Welcome to Become Resilient. Learn how to bounce back after chronic stress and trauma. Hi, my name is Laura Wilkinson. I am a life transformation coach, a mind-body practitioner, and I'm the founder of the Wilkinson Effect, a holistic health-based business that provides programs for people who want to change their life. I want to tell you up front, this is a pre-recorded presentation for quality purposes. However, I am live with you right now in the chat box to take all of your questions and anything that you want to talk about after the presentation is over. I am happy to answer your questions. So feel free to type in your name and where you're from right here in the chat box. And I want to thank you for joining me in this masterclass. You are here today because you want another chance to make a change. You want a better quality of life, and today I'm going to teach you what you need to know about putting yourself back together after you've fallen apart. And what we're really talking about today is the life of chronic stress and trauma. By the end of this masterclass, you'll have a much better understanding of what's really happening to you when you fall apart. And you'll learn my exact strategy on how to rebuild yourself after life has drained you. So make sure that you stay on until the very end of this training. I know that there are distractions all around us, but the information that I want to share with you has the ability to change your life, and I don't want you to miss a single crucial step. So please make a promise to yourself to stay focused here with me for the next hour or so. I'm going to ask you to please limit any distractions by closing out of any extra social media, turning off, or simply turning down the volume of your phone if that makes you feel more comfortable than turning it off. Please allow me your complete attention, and you might want to grab a pen and paper so that you can take notes because this is life-changing information. So even with my credentials, you still might be wondering if I can relate to what you're going through and if I'm actually capable of realistically helping you. You might be thinking, does she really understand what I'm feeling and what I've been through? Does she have real life experience? Just like you, there's more to me than meets the eye. I'm also a wife. I'm a mom of 3 young children. And I am a survivor of complex PTSD. I've been through multiple traumatic experiences that have influenced me to experience a lot of chronic stress in my life. I've had panic attacks, I have suffered depression, I've suffered anxiety disorders, and it's really created a sense of urgency for me to be invisible so that I could feel safe. I've hit rock bottom several times during my life, and I can personally testify to how draining it can be on the mind, body, and spirit. It would seem as though every time that I felt settled, safe, secure, something would happen. It would shake up my world, and then I would fall apart all over again. And I grew tired of feeling like I was repeatedly falling apart and then trying to put myself back together again. I dove into self-help books because I needed answers and I didn't have a lot of extra resources. I didn't have a lot of role models who could help point me in the right direction. And even still, there were many days where it was difficult for me to get out of bed to face the day, to face my life. I felt miserable, but still hopeful. So I kept searching for the missing piece of the puzzle. But, wherever you go, there you are. And my unfortunate luck, quote unquote, followed me no matter what I tried. I didn't know how to leave it behind me. I practiced yoga. I studied the experts in personal development, Tony Robbins, Stephen Covey, Eckhart Tolle. I kept searching for my truth. And eventually I fell in love with a man who understood and loved me as I was. He's my husband, Eamon. We grew our lives together. Eventually, we had our 3 children. And prior to becoming a mom, I had spent many years as a caregiver. And then I shifted my path a little bit because I really wanted to begin studying psychology and sociology to better understand what molds people into who they become. I distinctly can remember the very first day of my ethics and human services class. Our instructor told us that we were to introduce ourselves to the class and to briefly describe why we were there. I remember talking about my personal path and how I wanted to use my experiences to help other people. And my instructor's response was, "That sounds like life mastery." And in my head, I was thinking, yes, I want that. And so that career path shifted by just a small degree and brought me to where I am today. Because I needed to know, how do I heal this trauma? How do we heal this trauma? My quest to answer these questions led me to focus it on the processes of transformation and stress management. To answer it, we first need to be really clear on what stress is. The National Institute of Mental Health defines stress is how the brain and body respond to any demand. Every type of demand or stressor, such as exercise, work, major life changes, or traumatic events, can be stressful. The most common stress triggers are work, school, family responsibility, or sudden negative changes such as a loss, an illness, a divorce, or the loss of a job, as well as traumatic experiences including natural disasters, wars, and accidents. Money and work and the economy remain consistent stressors. They rank among the top causes of stress according to the American Psychological Association in a January 2017 survey that was conducted to examine stress and its impact on Americans. 31% of people in the survey said that their stress increased during the last year. 20% of people said that they experienced extreme stress. And 38% of people said that political and cultural discussions occurring on social media cause them to feel stressed out. You are here today because you want another chance to make a change. You want a better quality of life. Holistic healing is a way of life. It's about finding harmony in each of the subtle bodies, the mind, body, and spirit. Through holistic healing processes, I've been able to recreate my own life by learning how to let go of old patterns and create new ones that really help me to feel safe, secure, and serene. The strategies that I use for my clients help them build the bridge between where they are to where they want to be. Today, I'm going to teach you about holistic healing and the mind-body transformation. By the end of this masterclass, you'll have a really good understanding of my exact strategy on how to rebuild yourself after your mind and body have suffered from exhaustion, from stress, and trauma. So let's get started. First, let's take a moment to recognize that you are not alone. It can feel lonely and it can feel really vulnerable, but you need to realize that no one is exempt from the plot twists in life. I'm going to say that one more time. No one is exempt from the plot twists in life. We witness friends, family members, coworkers, and celebrities as they go through their own battles. Yet there's still a stigma around us talking about these sensitive topics, and it creates a really big gap between us being able to feel and heal our trauma. So right now, we're going to take a few minutes to talk about it. Trauma. The times when something major comes up out of nowhere and knocks you flat on your rear. You begin a downward spiral and can't seem to get a grip on your life. Everything's falling apart. Some days getting out of bed is your big accomplishment. You've hit rock bottom, the lowest of the low, and everything that meant anything to you seems to have disappeared, or maybe it's just no longer attainable for you. But you can still see it. You still see the light at the end of that tunnel, but it seems to be a never-ending tunnel. And you want to get there, but you feel immobilized from this blow to life. You're stuck. The view from the bottom seems to be so very far from the top, and everything along the way feels overwhelming. Putting back the pieces to your life feels so overwhelming because, let's face it, it takes all of your energy just to wake up to face this new reality. Then one day, you make a decision. You want your life back. Not necessarily the life that you had before, because you know that you're forever changed. But you can start to see both sides of the coin, and you know that there are two ways of dealing with the current circumstances. One, you can do nothing and stay miserably the same. Or two, you don't accept that this is your forever fate and that you're determined to do something different to change it. So you're here today. So you've made the decision to change your life. You chose not to accept this as your forever fate, and you're willing to do whatever that it takes to change your life for the better. You choose life. You choose a quality life. The problem is that you're totally exhausted from just trying to hang in there. You've suffered from trauma, and your natural responses to these stresses are still making you feel haywire. Your body is constantly tired, achy, inflamed, and your mind ping-pongs from feelings of overwhelming and sad and distressed, but you truly wanting to feel optimistic. But how in the world are you supposed to start putting your life back together when you're still trying to find the ground? How are you supposed to overcome this life depletion? Because this is exhausting. Your tank's been on empty because it took every bit of energy just not to completely fall apart. You've been probably hanging on by a thread, a glimmer of hope, and a little bit of faith that has remained untouched by this event. You want to heal, but you don't know how. I've been there. I've been there multiple times, and I know what a scary place that is to be stuck in. If you can relate to this and you're ready to make some changes in your life, I want you to just go ahead right now and honor that this is a complex part of your life path, and say aloud to yourself, I'm ready to heal this. And one more time, repeat it with more courage of conviction. I am ready to heal this. You need to really be feeling this because it's self-encouragement. And I want you to really feel that within your core. So just one more time, I'm ready to heal this. Very good. Now take a few comfortable deep breaths and just allow yourself to sit back in and become completely focused and present with what I have to tell you, because we're just getting started here. Go ahead and become really aware of your body and how it feels to be sitting right where you are. Go ahead and take in a few moments to feel present. And after you've done that, you can help anchor that feeling of being present by saying aloud to yourself, I'm back. And go ahead and repeat that one more time to yourself, I'm back. Excellent. Now, any time that you need to refocus yourself, you can easily recall the feeling of being present just like you did just right now, without feeling distracted by any of the thoughts of the past or future, by simply saying aloud, I'm back. If you've ever read the book, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, you understand that the present time is the moment of power. And right now, you're stepping into your personal power by being present and focused on what's happening. Every time that you say to yourself, I'm back, you're putting yourself back into the position of being able to make changes in your life. This is your moment of creating your life. That's right, you have the power to create your life. Yes, you were born into a certain lifestyle, but there are so many examples of people who were born into a circumstance and they created their life to have a different outcome. They recreated their life. They changed their stars. A huge problem with how we experience trauma is that we don't understand the processes of healing. The first problem is that we don't realize there are processes in healing. You don't know what you don't know. Have you ever heard that saying? You don't know what you don't know. How would you even know that there was a process unless someone who knew there was a process told you that? Many people who experience trauma in their life go to some form of counseling or therapy, which can be really helpful in talking through your emotions, your experiences, memories. And some of these therapies can also help break the mind-body connection that have embedded themselves as memories that remind us to stay safe. You see, in the mind, body, and spirit are what are called subtle bodies. They're parts of the whole person, and they have direct relationships with one another. What affects one part of the subtle body will affect another. Right now, I want you to think of an emotion of a time when you were feeling unsettled. Think of a time in your life when you were feeling unsettled. Do you remember what you were going through? Now really hone in onto what that feeling feels like in your body. Where are you feeling that emotion of feeling unsettled? Does it feel like butterflies in your stomach? Do your hips and your legs maybe feel weak? Notice how easily that you're able to recall these emotions and how easily your body is able to recognize those. So when you get a sense that something bad is about to happen, your fight or flight response kicks in. Your stress hormones go into overdrive and your primal instincts tell you that you better get your rear in gear because it is going down and you better be prepared to fight for your life or flee. The Mayo Clinic describes this type of stress response as your hypothalamus, a tiny region at the base of your brain, sets off an alarm system in your body. Through a combination of nerve and hormonal signals, this system prompts your adrenal glands to release a surge of hormones, including adrenaline and cortisol. These stress signals alarm. As these stress signals alarm, this is what happens in your body. Adrenaline increases your heart rate, elevating your blood pressure and boosting your energy supplies. While the primary stress hormone, cortisol, increases your blood sugar, your glucose, enhancing the brain's use of glucose and increasing the ability of substances that repair tissues. So what does this really mean? Cortisol also curbs the functions that would be non-essential or detrimental in a fight or flight situation. It alters the immune system responses and suppresses the digestive system, the reproductive system, and your growth processes. This complex natural alarm system also communicates with the regions of your brain that control your mood, motivation, and fear. But when stressors are always present and you constantly feel under attack, that fight or flight reaction stays turned on. The long-term activation of the stress response system and the subsequent overexposure of cortisol and other hormones can disrupt almost all of your body's processes. This puts you at an increased risk for numerous health problems, including anxiety, depression, digestive problems, headaches, heart problems, sleep problems, weight gain, memory and concentration impairment. Wait, what are we talking about? Your mind, body, and spirit can become depleted during long periods of stress. You absolutely cannot live your life on fight or flight all of the time. One of the obstacles that people face when attempting to heal from chronic stress that's left them feeling completely exhausted is finding the right care that will help them get back onto the path of healing and moving away from disease. Your doctors, counselors, dietitians, spiritual counselors all give you information, but even they don't know what they don't know. These fields of study generally don't provide a holistic approach, but rather focus on one area. They have one specialty, and that's something that a lot of people really don't understand, is that all of these specialties will give you one direction, but it's not a holistic approach. It's not a mind-body approach. So let's give you another few comfortable deep breaths and allow yourself to just get comfortable for a moment again and let go of any tension that arose in you as maybe you recognize some of these characteristics within yourself. Just take a few deep breaths and just let it go. Very good. So it's like we get these pieces of the puzzle, but everyone assumes that we know how to assemble all of the pieces together to create a whole picture that makes up of our health. But because stress is a mind-body problem, we need to have a mind-body approach. Even more complex than having the answers is really knowing how to implement the changes that we need to make. So how do you turn off the stress response and start to get your life back? The Partnership Health Plan of California published an article in their summer of 2017 newsletter titled, "How to Help Yourself After a Traumatic Event." It states when something like a natural disaster or a traumatic event wrecks their plans, it can take a while to feel safe and secure again. Now, this is coming directly from the state of California. They go on to identify the steps that people can take to build resiliency and regain control. 1. Find support. 2. Reestablish your routine. 3. Educate and prepare yourself. Fantastic, you're doing that right now. 4. Limit media. 5. Practice self-care. When you experience chronic stress and trauma, it's like a jolt to your system, and you need to know how to reset yourself. If you want to change your life and develop resiliency, then it's really essential that you understand the 7 levels of change, which are 1. Effectiveness, doing the right things. 2. Efficiency, doing the right things the right way. 3. Improving, doing things even better. 4. Cutting, doing away with things that aren't working. 5. Adapting, doing things that other people are doing which contribute to their success. 6. Different, doing things that nobody else is doing. And 7. Impossible, doing the things that so-called can't be done. Because right now we're focusing on rebuilding the foundations of your life, such as eating and sleeping, feeling safe and secure, creating comfort and calmness so that healing can take place. We're going to be concentrating on how to use these 7 levels of change in a way that helps us to achieve these things. So at level 1, learning to be effective, doing the right things, I want you to really stop and think right now, what should you be focusing on? What is working for you right now? And go ahead, if you have your pen and your paper, go ahead and start taking some notes right now, because this is really going to help you create your own blueprint on how to help you move forward right now. Okay, so with level 2, learning to be efficient, doing the right things the right way. How can you do it with less time and less energy? Is there a way for you to be efficient? I guarantee you that there is a way for you to be more efficient. Maybe it is by delegating some of your tasks and having somebody else help you with stuff. Level 3, learning how to improve and doing things better. How can you improve your results? So beyond being effective and being efficient, you can improve things even more. This is really helping you step out of that box and really expand your perspective and see things on a larger scale. Level 4, learning to get rid of the things that aren't serving your purpose. What are you doing that isn't working for you? What obstacles are you facing that are getting in the way of your healing? And it's really important that you allow yourself to go ahead and write these down so that you can examine this later. Because beyond this masterclass, you're going to be able to keep using this for yourself, and you're going to be able to edit and audit your own workings and the things that you're going through every time that you experience something, every time that you go, oh, I didn't realize that was getting in the way of my healing. I didn't realize that this was making me feel bad, therefore I was not feeling good, I was not feeling relaxed. What can I do about this? So please do yourself a favor and make sure that you're writing these things down. Level 5, learning to look at what successful people are doing and modeling after them. Who else has struggled with this and has had the outcome that you want? What did they do differently than you? It's really important to have a role model. If you don't have one in your life, go find one online. YouTube is an excellent channel for finding a mentor. Level 6, learning to do the things that no one else is doing. So what is nobody doing that could be helpful? Now that you've looked at yourself, now that you've looked at what other people are doing, what are they not doing? What is nobody else doing that could be helpful? Maybe it's just adding in one more step into somebody else's process, and it just completely changes the outcome. It feels more supported. What's nobody else doing that could be helpful? Level 7, learning how to do the impossible. Be the first. Be the first. It always seems impossible until it's done. Nelson Mandela. Just because nobody's done it yet doesn't mean that it can't be done. Be the first. Nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible. Audrey Hepburn. Now I want to invite you to write that down. I'm possible. So previously we'd talked about that to heal a mind-body problem, you have to have a mind-body solution. And I want you to really look at this as a holistic healing and focus on getting your essential needs met so that you can get back to your energy as soon as possible. Because as you well know, life does not wait for you to get back up onto your feet. And you want to get back on your feet as soon as you can, otherwise you face outliving damage control. So we're going to go back over these levels in a little bit bigger of a way, and I'm going to help you really understand what you need to be focusing on for each level. So in level 1, your focus needs to be on setting your intention and making healing your goal. And again, I'm going to repeat this because this is one of the biggest mistakes that people make in trying to self-heal from trauma and chronic stress. They don't set the intention. They don't make it a goal. This is what I am doing. That is such a simple step to take, and yet we don't know what we don't know. So you don't know that you need to make that specifically a goal. That is your big end zone. That is your big win, is healing yourself and making sure that you're moving forward through this path of healing. So go ahead right now and you can think to yourself, what am I doing right now that is helping me work towards this goal? And write down 3 things, at least 3 things. I'm sure it's probably really easy for you to look at your life and just think, what am I doing that's helping me heal from chronic stress and trauma right now? And I'm just going to go ahead and give you a minute to write that down. In level 2, your focus needs to be on making sure that you're energizing yourself in the right ways by taking care of your body and your mind. How can I nurture my mind, body, and spirit without wasting my time or energy? What is the right way to do this? In level 3, your focus needs to be on having the ability to look at your life and see where your self-care can be improved even greater. Like I said before, this is really about expanding your perspective. So I want you to think, how can I expand my perspective? How can I expand the way that I look at this? And how can I make this even better? How can I heal myself even more than I'm doing now? How can I do this even better? And in level 4, your focus needs to be on eliminating the things that are contributing to your stress. Identify and eliminate your obstacles. Obstacles can come in a lot of forms. It can be stressful people. Maybe it is where you are living. Maybe it is your job. Anything that isn't moving you towards healing is probably moving you back towards stress or trauma. So look at the things that are messing you up, messing with your vibes, and really start examining what you can start eliminating or how you can start changing those things to maybe see them differently if they're not something that you can change. In level 5, your focus needs to be on finding a mentor or coach, such as myself, who knows how to get the results that you want. Who would be a good match for you to model after? Who knows a successful path that can help you heal this? Now, this isn't about just listening to so-and-so's advice. Like, I'm sure that you can get a lot of people's advice, but they're not a good match for you because, for one, they probably don't know what they're talking about. For 2, they're looking at it from a really narrow perspective. They're not seeing this as a mind-body problem. So make sure that you're really looking at, is this person a good match for me? Because if they're not a good match for you, you'll have a lot more resistance. So finding someone who's a good match to work with, to model after, is a really important thing. And in level 6, your focus should be on taking what you've already learned, applying it to yourself, and going ahead and again taking the next step of improvement. So you can look at it like, what is nobody else in my life doing that might be helpful? Have the willingness to take another step into possibility. What's missing? How can you expand on this even more? And in level 7, your focus needs to be on being the one who is capable of change. if you've suffered from chronic stress, there's a good chance that other people in your life also suffer from that kind of stress as well. And not everyone sees that there's a way out. And it's really unfortunate like that. Not everyone knows that there are other possibilities that exist and that are actually attainable. And people might tell you that it's impossible for this type of healing to take place in your life. I want to strongly suggest and invite you to ignore them and believe in your heart and your mind that change can happen for you. And you need to be the one. You need to believe I'm possible and have the willingness to heal yourself and have the willingness to even possibly be the one who's the role model for other people later. Because some of those naysayers in your life who think that it's not possible for you to change because they can't see other possibilities, at some point might be willing to look at you and say, if she could do it, I can do it. And that's a really special thing. But until you get there, allow yourself to be the one. Change can happen. If you're ready to heal and you are ready to start reclaiming your life and your energy right now, and you would like me to help you go through that, then you'll highly benefit from a program that I've made called the Mind-Body Depletion Recovery Program. It sounds really fancy, but it's really just talking about, how we become depleted. Life can really drain you when you're suffering from chronic stress and trauma, and in order to recover from that, I've created a really great mind-body solution, and it's a 4-week program to help take you step by step, day by day, teaching you what you need to know about rebuilding and maintaining your health. And what I really want to do is show you how to implement the actions that are going to be leading to the changes that you want. Because it's really easy to listen to all of this advice, right? But we're trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. And it's really about implementing and taking the small actions that can really start getting the ball rolling, getting you on your feet. This is going from, the crawling to learning how to walk. So we're just taking it a step at a time. And in these 4 weeks, you're going to learn how to develop and implement a self-care routine. You are going to learn how to eliminate your negative thinking and quiet your mind. You're going to learn how to eat healthy and support your mind body with the right supplements and foods. You're going to learn how to create stability and security in your life, even if it doesn't seem like you have it yet. And that's a really special key that I'm going to touch on it in a minute again, and get more into depth with that. Not everyone has somebody who can help them muster up the energy or the will to get up and out of bed and start each day with a fresh beginning. And I really want to be that person for you. It's so encouraging to have that friend who's also an expert and knows what the heck they're talking about and knows the steps that you need to take to be encouraging you every step of the way. And I can tell you from experience, that makes a world of a difference. During the first week of this program, I'm going to teach you how to create your day so that it actually favors you staying on track and moving towards a healing direction. I'm going to teach you not only what I know from my personal experiences of feeling overwhelmed, exhausted, and stuck, but I also want to teach you what I've learned about wholeness, healing, and transformation through my profession. In week 2, I'm going to teach you how to reprogram your mind to stop always expecting the worst. Once your stress responses have been stuck for a while under chronic stress, your mind becomes wired to think a certain way, and it doesn't always serve you to think in terms of fight or flight. And you need to know how to reset your thinking patterns. And it's really easy, but this is really about implementing. And in week 3, I'm going to teach you about optimum nutrition. And that's really helping you in terms of understanding what's helping and what's hurting you in terms of the foods that you're eating. And you're also going to learn about how to supplement your health so that you're gaining as much health and healing as you can. The nutrition that you need during times of chronic stress and trauma are different than everyday normal supplemental needs. You need to be giving yourself different amounts of nutrients, specific nutrients, to help your body be able to combat that stress. Because as we talked about during, the section about all of the signs of and symptoms of stress, is that those are really depleting. When you're having those digestive problems, when you're having the headaches, this is all of the nutrients, all of the chemicals in your body going haywire. So it's really important that you're having the right foods and the right supplements to help your body rebalance and be able to cope and deal with the stress so that you're still getting the nutrients that you're supposed to be as they're being overused. And in week 4, it's a really special week because it gives you the tools that you need in order to feel safe and stable so that you can grow. And if you don't have a solid foundation in your life, then everything that you've built will eventually become unstable. And the feelings of stability and security stem from primal energies that help you feel safe enough to grow. So what I'm doing in week 4 is I'm helping you tap into these feelings of being safe and being stable and being secure. It's being the eye of the storm when all of this chaos is going around you. I want you to know how to be the eye of the storm and how to feel focused and how to feel calm so that you can take the next step of getting out of the storm. And throughout this program, you'll be receiving daily email messages from me to help keep you motivated and inspired. In addition to each week's lessons and tools, you will have full access to all of these extra resources that I use for my coaching clients. And that's really a lot of extra tools. But the tools that I give for you are for beyond the 4 weeks. So this is really to help you continue on your path. So, I do give you a lot of extra resources, but that's so that you can keep going. Because this program is really all about implementing, and I really want to help you put your best foot forward every single day for the 4 weeks to help you reprogram your life. So I want to help you have perspective of this again. And so I'm going to pull you back, and I want to ask you, what does this really look like for you? What are you going to be risking if you stay the same? And I know that that's a hard question to ask because you've signed up for this Masterclass. I'm sure that you're going through a lot right now. And sometimes it can feel like a big thing to step into the unknown, right? But if you don't do something different, it's going to stay the same. And there are risks that come with that. And I really want you to be aware of the risks that you're taking. Because like we talked about before, you don't know what you don't know. And so I want you to have that perspective. I want you to know the things that you don't know, but that really deep down you do know. So let's look at that, because by now you're probably wondering what the heck I'm talking about. I'm talking about your time. I'm talking about your money. What do you currently have to lose if you keep going down the same path that you're on? Your time. That's like a major thing. I can tell you, I've spent more than a decade of, I wouldn't say wasting my time because, eventually I did get to the next step, but I did that at a much slower pace by trying to figure things out on my own. And there was probably close to a decade of time that I can't get back anymore because it's gone. You can't go back. So I want you to think about that. And money. Money is a really big one for a lot of people. We spend so much money on books, on therapists, on, not going back to work, and your relationships, letting people down, just not being able to be present with your family and your friends because you're feeling withdrawn, you're feeling down, you're feeling like you're cramping everybody's style, or it's just too much for you to take, being around those people, whatever that is, that's something that we're missing out on. So what do you have to gain? What do you have to gain from being in this program with me is that you're going to learn to be resilient. Everybody falls, but it's really important that we learn how to get back up as quickly as possible, because we don't want to waste our time. We don't want to spend our money on all of these useless things. And sometimes that's as silly as, retail therapy and spending money on things that are trying to make you feel better, but really aren't moving you towards healing. So one of the biggest things that you can gain from this program is learning how to be resilient. Learning how quickly to get back up after you fall. Shortening down that decade to, maybe it takes you a couple of months to really get back into the flow of your life. That is priceless. This is going to help you become empowered. You're going to regain your self-respect. You'll gain it if you never had it. You'll regain it if you had it before, but then if sometimes we go through these hard times and then we start to feel disappointed in ourselves. Like we know that we've let down other people, but then also on levels we feel like we've let ourselves down. And this program is really going to help you feel empowered. You're getting the power back into your life. You're understanding the steps to take. You're understanding when to take them. And you're knowing how to develop your self-care and move back to the path of healing. And this is going to help you transform your health. Really, it is mind and it is body. Your mental health is something that there's so much stigma around mental health these days. There's so many conversations that people aren't having that they really need to talk about. I wish that we could talk more with our friends and our family about the things that we're going through and the ways that we're experiencing those things in our body. This program is going to help you transform your health, mind, and body. It's going to help you save time. It's going to help you save money. You can always make more money in your life, yes. But if you can not have that debt, that would be great. If you can have more time with your family and your friends because you have not spent 5 years feeling depressed and not wanting to be around anybody, you can never get back that time. I want to help you save the time and save the money and get back to your life as quickly as possible. Because it's not whether you get knocked down, it's whether or not you get back up. Vince Lombardi, he was a legendary football coach and he knows his stuff. So if you're looking at this and you're going, 4 weeks, you can do anything for a short amount of time. It's just like running a sprint. 4 weeks is a really short distance. And by focusing day by day, you can easily rebuild your life by creating a new routine and habits. You've been knocked down, but it's time for you to get back up. And that means that when you enroll in this program, you're going to get help moving through these things. You're going to get help developing a new routine. You're going to learn how to move away from stress and learn how to feel more calm, centered, and focused. you can get back into the flow of life, but this time you're going to be setting your own pace by setting that intention and by learning how to set that goal. Not only are you going to learn how to set yourself up for success by developing a new routine, which I encourage you for the entire 4 weeks, and you're going to also get a practical nutritional education that teaches you about optimum nutrition. And I really want to emphasize the practical, because we get so much information and opinion about our nutritional health, and you don't always know what the heck that means. You don't know if that's a fad. You don't know if that's just somebody's opinion that they're expressing. This is practical nutritional information, meaning that you can actually use this. So I'm going to be teaching you how to supplement your body for combating your stress, the foods that you need to be eating, the foods that probably you should be avoiding, the supplements that you should be taking, as well as I give you a lot of other practical tools like shopping lists and nutritional charts and meal planning to help you make it easier, because you want to really be having your focus be on healing and not on trying to just suddenly jump back into life and having all of these things to do. I want this to be really easy, so I've done all of that work for you. I'm just giving you the tools and telling you how to use them. In addition to that, I'm going to help you connect with finding stability and security when life seems confusing or uncertain or chaotic, so that you can feel safe enough to grow. You can feel safe enough to move to the next level of your life, the next phase of your life. So here's all of the things that you're going to be learning in this. And again, like I said, this is not overwhelming. This is taking you step by step. It's 1 lesson a week, showing you the information that you need. This is like a need to know basis. There's not so much extra fluff around here that it's, putting extra junk in your small space. Like, this is all information that's going to help you take the steps that you need to take when you need to take them. This program is really valued at around $1,000. I've got it priced for $997 because it's below $1,000. It's a friendly number, and it's really common to see these kinds of programs at this type of a price, because it is it's basically 4 different programs into one program, which is not very common. There's not very many programs for this type of healing chronic stress and trauma, which is, I'm so glad that I was able to help develop that for you, but I'm not going to offer you that for this price. But I do want you to consider, if this program, if all of it did was help to give you a better quality of life and feel more energetic and feel more peaceful, would that be worth it? What's your well-being worth to you? And I want you to think about that for a moment. Like I already said, I'm not going to charge you $1,000 for this program right now. I've decided not to price it at that. Eventually that price might be raised, just because of the economy. I do want you to think about, what is your well-being worth to you? If all this program did was give you a better quality of life, what would that be worth to you? So I've decided to only charge you $297 if you want to join this program today. This is the front page. This is actually the page that it looks like. Welcome to the Mind-Body Depletion Recovery Program. This is what the platform looks like. So this is the first step. This is before the first lesson. And it's just got the welcome video and giving you instructions on how to best get through the program. But, if you want real change, you need repeated exposure. You really need the full system of this program. You need to know how to implement. And this program is really about teaching you how to put all of those puzzle pieces together without you having to figure it out by yourself, without having to waste years of your life or thousands of dollars, trying to figure out the information that you get from different therapists and counselors and doctors and, anything else where you're putting your money. This is really helping you save it all and just being able to have it packaged up for you and say, here you go. This, like as a friend, as a professional, this is how you get through this. And that's a life tool. This is something that these 4 weeks are teaching you, something that you are going to be able to use for the rest of your life. You can teach this to your children. You can teach this to your friends. You can teach this to your significant other. These are life tools, and I've really set it up for you to be successful. Because I really want you to be successful. I don't want to see so much suffering. I don't want to see, I've been through these experiences myself, and that was enough. That was way more than enough. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And so I've made this price really affordable right now because I want people to be able to get through this. I want people to... I know that 2017 was such a whirlwind of a year, and obviously I'm making this video, doing this training right now, starting it in the beginning of 2018. And I really want this to shape up to be a different kind of year for people. I really want this to be the kind of year where we are empowering ourselves and we are taking back the control in our life, realizing that we have the control, realizing that we are in charge of the remote. We can change the channel in our life where we want. We can change the direction that we want to head. And I really want to help people have the focus and the understanding of how to maneuver through all of this stuff that's really tricky and hard to figure out. So before we go, I want to thank you. I want to thank you so much for tuning into this masterclass and sitting here with me and going through all of this for about an hour. You're terrific. I really appreciate your attention for that. And if you know anyone else who is suffering through chronic stress and trauma, please share this link with people so that they can have the opportunity to watch it too. Thank you so much for joining me and learning how to regain control over your life, learning how to take care of yourself in a healthy way and connect with your inner self who's ready to feel alive and take the next step of your life and joining the Mind-Body Depletion Recovery Program with me. If you're interested in doing that and you want to go through this with me, you can click on the link below to join today. Thank you again so much for being here, and I wish you the very best in luck.